And welcome back to Monday Evening Quarterback. This is Christian Simpson here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said at the top of the show, it feels amazing to be back. Um, and once again, if you are liking what you are hearing, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We can be found on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Blog Talk Radio, and the Nerdport Network. We talked about everything in college and how we went from 12 teams to now the semifinals, the final four, if you want to refer to it as that, for the college football playoff. That's Penn State, Notre Dame. That's on Thursday, and then Ohio State and Texas is on Friday night. Um, can't wait for those games, and of course, I will be previewing those games. So with that being said, it's NFL time. Um, and week 18, I don't want to say it was a dud necessarily, but you had a couple teams who were still fighting for playoff spots. You had teams who are already locked in and didn't even bother to start their starters, which I get, and there's been a big debate about that, which I will get into. But week 18 started on Saturday, and it started in Baltimore between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Baltimore's kind of found their swagger a little bit. I think a few people threw the towel in on them after that loss to Philadelphia, but they just kept continuing to put it behind them, move forward, play good football. Got a couple of impressive wins. One over the Steelers on December 21st, and then 4 days later on Christmas Day, they beat up on the Houston Texans. And I think the best thing that happened in that game was the Beyonce performance from a Houston perspective, because the Texans certainly didn't show up. The scenario was simple for Baltimore: win, and they're division champions for the second straight year. And they did handle their business against the Cleveland Browns 35-10, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna, look that up like I always do, just to clarify. Um, let's see. Yeah, 35-10 was the score in that game. Um, Lamar Jackson capped off an incredible season, and I'll be real with you guys. This is the best I've ever seen him look. He is more confident as a passer now than he was, you could even say, last year or when he first came into the league. 16 to 32, 217 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Derrick Henry, what a godsend he's been to this Baltimore offense. 20 carries, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Rashad Bateman was the leading receiver. Now, there was a game in Pittsburgh. Cincinnati Bengals, Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Bengals started were 4-8 at one point. They've really found their rhythm. Sometimes you just need one, and one can turn into a winning streak. I've said this on many occasions on this podcast. I've said it on the Prime. I'm sure I probably said it on the betting window and every other show, and even off the microphone. I've been saying it. Even said it on the site the other day. If the Bengals had a better record, let's just make this scenario. If the Bengals had a better record and they were one of the top three teams in the AFC, I'm talking where Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore are right now. Joe Burrow right now is the front runner for MVP, and I don't think it's close, because this is the best he's ever looked since coming into the NFL. The same swagger that he played with in Baton Rouge for the LSU Tigers, it's the same swagger that he has now as a Cincinnati Bengal. Um, since he went into Pittsburgh, came away with a 2 point victory. This was the best I've seen the Bengals defense look all season long. Um, you can't put this loss on Russell Wilson, nor can you put it on the defense. You got to put this loss on George Pickens and all the other receivers that were just dropping perfectly thrown passes all game long. I think George Pickens dropped about 3 to 4 passes. Um, the Bengals did win this game by a score of 19-17. The problem I have with the Steelers is they've gotten away from who they are. Their identity is running the football, and Russell Wilson works well when a defense is crept up at the line of scrimmage, because when he has a defense crept up at the line of scrimmage, he can use his play action and then the passing attack begins to open up. So if the Steelers want to make some noise in the playoffs, they got to get this running game going. Plain and simple, because there's no way that the offense should be shouldering the responsibility that they have. It shouldn't be on T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, Joey Porter Jr., Minka Fitzpatrick. They do their job. They need the offense to alleviate a lot of pressure off of them. I know New England beat Buffalo. Josh Allen didn't play. But after the game, New England did fire Gerard Mayo, and I can't say I'm surprised one bit, because unfortunately, African American coaches do not get the wiggle room or the vote of confidence as their white counterparts. It may sound crass, but I'm just being honest. The Patriots were 4-13, and they really didn't give Gerard Mayo enough to work with. Look, unless you're Mike Tomlin, you're really not going to succeed as a black head coach in the National Football League. Look at the Texans a couple years ago with David Culley. Considering everything he endured, didn't know what was going on with Deshaun Watson. I think they won 3 or 4 games, if I'm not mistaken, and he was given the X. Yeah, Gerard deserved better. There's no doubt about that. I'm still stunned. And yesterday on the NFL on Fox, I saw Rob Gronkowski talking about this, and when he was speaking facts, all of a sudden they need to go to a commercial. Crazy, right? I have a feeling Mike Vrabel is going to be the next head coach of the Patriots. This will be like DeMeco Ryans 2.0 all over again. A guy who played for the team, now coaching the team that he once played for. I did read something where the Patriots were going to look into interviewing Ben Johnson, who's going to be a hot commodity amongst the coaching board, the coaching carousel. But yeah, I can't wait to see how this pans out. And if that were the case, if they were just going to get rid of Gerard Mayo, they might as well just let Belichick stay one more year. But it didn't pan out that way. I hope Gerard Mayo gets another opportunity. Goes somewhere where he's appreciated, even if it's as a position coach or a defensive coordinator somewhere. The Buccaneers did win the NFC South again, and the Atlanta Falcons should be ashamed of themselves. The Buccaneers had to grind that game out 27-19, but the coolest moment in that game was getting Mike Evans the ball so he could A, get his incentive, and B, record another 1,000-yard season. Because I'll be honest with you, I really thought that the possibility of another 1,000-yard season for him was kind of grim, because he did miss some games. But yeah, Mike Evans has been the model of consistency since coming in the NFL. Starting your first 11 seasons as a 1,000-yard receiver. That's Hall of Fame-esque. He already has the ring. But I think what's impressed me the most about it is he's done it with multiple quarterbacks: Jameis Winston, Tom Brady, Ryan Fitzpatrick, now Baker Mayfield. Um, so yeah, the Buccaneers have won the division for the fourth straight year. Crazy, and this was the best I've seen Baker Mayfield look. Um, the Commanders and Packers were fighting for positioning in the wild card. If the Commanders had won and the Packers lost, the Commanders would be the six, the Packers would be the seven, and if the Packers won and the Commanders lost, the Packers would have been the six, and the Commanders would have been the seventh seed in the NFC. Washington did get a win on Dallas, who hasn't, and the Bears stunned the Green Bay Packers, 24-22. Um, so with that being said, Washington is the sixth seed, and the Packers are the seventh seed. I'm going to talk about the playoffs. Just had a couple more things to discuss. The Denver Broncos, they're back in the playoffs. Third time's a charm. Um, Listen, the Chiefs weren't starting anybody. Mahomes didn't play. Chris Jones didn't play. Travis Kelce. Excuse me. Isaiah Pacheco. Um, all the key guys for Kansas City didn't play. And rightfully so. You had everything locked up. You're 15-1. You won your division. You're locked into the one seed. You're gonna get a home field advantage. Um, this was a big game for the Denver Broncos. I mean, they haven't made the playoffs since their win in Super Bowl 50 against the Carolina Panthers, and Peyton Manning was still an active player. Um, Denver did dominate in this game, 38-0. They're in the playoffs. Again, this was nothing for Kansas City. They finished their year 15-2, even though the quality of play may necessarily not complement the record. They're still 15-2, and the road to New Orleans and the AFC will travel through Kansas City. Then the biggest game of the day, well, of the weekend in Week 18 was in Detroit. Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions. Both teams entered 14-2. Um, Here's how the scenario unfolded. The winner not only won the division, but clinched the top seed in the NFC playoffs. So they would have the first round bye in the NFC playoffs. The loser would have 14 wins and would have to start on the road. The Minnesota Vikings picked their worst time to have their worst game. Sam Darnold didn't show up. Justin Jefferson was kept in check. All the other weapons were kept in check, and the Vikings defense looked soft. And this is a unit that's been one of the very best in the league this year. But Detroit came out, established the running game. This is what they want to do. They want to ground and pound the football. They want to run the rock, and they want to dominate the line of scrimmage, and they did that. The Lions did win this game by a score of 31-9. Wasn't close. Sam Darnold, 18-41, 166 yards, no touchdowns. By far his worst performance of the year. Jared Goff, how efficient has he been? 27-33, 231 yards, one touchdown pass, and did throw two interceptions. Jahmyr Gibbs was the star in this game. 23 carries, 139 yards, and three touchdowns. The hat trick. So the Lions have clinched their first number one seed in franchise history. They are 15-2, so the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC will run through Ford Field. I just can't believe the regular season concluded yesterday. Can you? Just seems like we were getting started for it. Ronnie and I were jumping on for Monday Evening Quarterback, and Yeah. But with that being said, that's all I have for. Well, that's not all I have for the NFL, but Doug Peterson did get fired, the former Jacksonville Jaguars head coach, and I think we all saw that coming. Um, but with that being said, that is all I have for today. The playoffs are here. The matchups are set. 2 games Saturday, 3 on Sunday, 1 a week from tonight on Monday night. It starts in Houston. The Chargers will play the Texans, and then to wrap everything up on Saturday night, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens will do battle. Sunday, it kicks off in Orchard Park, New York, with the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills. Then it goes to Philly for Green Bay and Pittsburgh, a rematch, a very thrilling week 1 game in Brazil. And it will wrap up on Sunday with the Commanders and the Buccaneers. Then Monday night on ESPN, it will be the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams. The last time the Rams hosted a playoff game or played in a playoff game at SoFi, it was the Super Bowl. Let that sink in. It's definitely been a while. I will be previewing everything I start today. Can't wait to put the pen to paper and just give you my thoughts on the game. On the games, and of course, I will be previewing the college football playoff this weekend as well. Um, but with that being said, that is all I have, guys. Thank you so much for everything you did during the regular season. MEQ will be hosting some playoff editions of the podcast, so be on the lookout for that. To keep up with everything and to follow along with the previews and who I have winning the games, log on to the site and become a subscriber today, which is the Daily Blitz blog. Enter your email address, and anything I post will be sent to your inbox. Excuse me. Follow us on Twitter at Daily Blitz _61. Follow us on Instagram at the Daily Blitz 61. And you could also follow my personal page, which is the Daily Blitz. Which is the football analyst _61. To keep up with me on the radio every Monday night and Tuesday night, you can catch me on the Prime with David On Point, TJ Hopkins, Israel Rivera, and Matt James, and on Prime Sports World. That's every Monday night and Tuesday night. Wednesdays, you can catch me on The Betting Window on the Nerd Report Network with Ronnie, John Danzo, Ryan Shaw. Fridays, you can catch me on College Football Showdown on Prime Sports World with Israel Rivera and Matt James. But there will be a special edition of College Football Showdown with Ohio State and Texas playing on Friday. Obviously, we don't want to do a show during the game. So College Football Showdown will be doing a special preview show on Wednesday. I will make that announcement on social media as well, so you guys can keep up with me. And I will be on breaking down the college football playoff. And yeah, it's a great time for football. College football is winding down. The NFL is winding down. We are officially in playoff mode all around, and I'm excited to discuss it and break it all down. Can't wait to start previewing games as I mentioned. But as always, this is when I always do a shout out or shout outs. So let's begin that. A huge shout out to my beautiful family, my amazing mother and sister who have been nothing but supportive of me. Thank you, and thank you for all you do, all you've done, and all I know you're going to do moving forward. My son, better known as my dog, Siebes, he's not with me today. It's okay. I still love him nonetheless. My dad, thank you young man, for everything you do. And, I love both my parents and my sister, just my family in general. They're my why. They're my motivation to get up and do everything that I do. My other sibling, Sean, who just celebrated a birthday on New Year's Day. Happy birthday, man. I hope it was everything you could have imagined. My other sister, Janice, who has a birthday on January 20th. So happy early birthday. Tanisha, Daphne, Brandon, Keith. Thank you guys so much for all you do. Just some other people I'm close with: Robert Butler, Jason Tyree, Candace Carter, Kimmel Fryer, Rob Carter, Mike Griffin, Velo, Alex, Rob's cousin, Alex, and Alex Bennett was the first Alex I mentioned. Corey Harris, Deshaun Elliott, Josh, Diana, their three kids, Tiffany, Natalie, and Madison. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope all of you had an amazing holiday season. Kevin Cooper, his wife Lynn, and their daughter Evie, who is about to be 8 years old. I can't believe it. I remember when you were first born, so happy early birthday to you, young lady. And, just everyone who supported this movement. Thank you. And we're just getting started. I hope you know that. Um, I hope you guys enjoy this episode just as much as I have fun recording it. But this has been another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. I'm off to go do the prime, and then I'm dropping a NFL wildcard weekend preview of the first game. So I'm excited to get to that. This has been MEQ on YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, Blog Talk Radio, and the Nerdport Network. I will see you guys next week. Catch me on a prime tonight. See you then. Have a great rest of the week and enjoy your Monday night. And enjoy the NFL playoffs and the college football playoff as well. Can't forget that.